In New York City, a 23-year-old biology student is quietly working on a discovery that could deliver clean, unlimited energy. Before she can share it with the world, a threat arrives from the future. An android killer designed to erase her from history. 26-year-old guardian steps out of a time rift with one mission: protect her at any cost. Forced to run, hide, and fight through the streets and subways of Manhattan, they begin to rely on each other in ways neither expected. And as danger closes in, the line between duty and love starts to disappear. Chapter 1. The Blue Spark in Manhattan. I first saw her under the bright lab lights of a university building near the east side of Manhattan. She was 23, a biology student with tired eyes and a steady focus that made the room feel quieter. Her notes were spread across the table like a map to something bigger than grades and semesters. A small device sat between beakers and microscopes. It looked simple, almost harmless, but it glowed with a clean blue light that didn't flicker like a normal power source. She had built it from biology and chemistry principles, using living membranes and a special catalyst that turned natural reactions into a steady stream of energy. No smoke, no heat waste, just a soft, endless hum. Her professor, a middle-aged man with a gentle voice, told her she was onto something real. He urged her to be careful with who she talked to and where she stored her data. She smiled like she understood, but I could tell she didn't yet feel the full weight of her own future. I did. Because I wasn't supposed to be here, not in this time. I was 26, trained for one job, and sent back to protect the woman who would one day change the world. In my time, her name was spoken like a promise. And also like a warning. I arrived that night through a tear in the air on a quiet side street, the cold wind of New York cutting through my jacket. My wrist device confirmed what my memory already knew. She was close, and the threat had already crossed into the present. An android assassin had been sent to kill her before her discovery could spread. He looked human, about 30, dressed like any professional walking through the city. But inside, he was built for one thing: clean, perfect murder. I found her the next day outside the university doors. She stepped out with books hugged to her chest, hair pulled back, cheeks pink from the cold. When she noticed me watching, her expression tightened. "Can I help you?" she asked. "You're in danger," I said. "And you need to come with me right now." She stared at me like I was crazy, which was fair. But then her gaze shifted past my shoulder, and I felt it too. The strange stillness of someone who doesn't belong in the crowd. The android had found her. Chapter 2. The Hunter in the Subway. I didn't give her time to argue. I stepped closer, lowered my voice, and said the only thing that would cut through her doubt. "Your prototype. The one that glows blue. Someone is coming for it. And for you." That froze her. Scientists learn to question everything, but they also learn to recognize when someone knows too much. "Who are you?" she whispered. "Not enough time," I said, and guided her down the steps toward the subway before the android could close the distance. The station smelled like steel and rain-soaked coats. A train screeched in the distance. She kept turning her head, trying to make sense of my urgency, but she stayed with me. I could feel her fear, controlled but real, like a heartbeat under glass. We reached the platform and I saw him across the tracks. The android stood still while everyone else shifted and moved, his eyes fixed on her like she was a coordinate. Her grip tightened on my sleeve. "That's him." "Yes." "How do you know?" "Because he doesn't blink," I said. "And because he's not here to talk." The android stepped forward. Too calm. Too direct. I moved in front of her. "When I say run, you run." He didn't pull a gun. He didn't need one. He just walked toward us, already certain. The train arrived in a roar of wind. I took the chance, grabbed her hand, and ran. We pushed into the crowd as doors opened, slipped through, and exited on the other side as the doors closed again. The android didn't panic. He simply turned and moved toward another entrance, already calculating the next intercept. We broke out into the city near Times Square, rain starting to fall. Neon lights painted her face in streaks of color. She was breathing hard, but her eyes were sharp. "This is insane," she said. "Tell me what's happening." I wanted to tell her everything. About the future skyline powered by her discovery. About the people who tried to control it. About the dark networks that would rather keep the world desperate and divided than free. Instead I said, "You're going to change the world. And someone is trying to stop you." She stared at me. "That's not an answer. It's the only one that matters right now," I said. "Stay close." And in the rain, with the city screaming around us, she did. Chapter 3, Rooftops, Truth, and a Promise. I brought her to a rooftop above a quiet building, a place with a view of the skyline and enough distance to think. The wind was strong up there, and the city looked almost peaceful from that height. She sat on a low wall, hands shaking slightly as she tried to hide it. I checked my arm where I'd scraped it during our escape. She watched me, then reached into her bag and pulled out a small first aid kit like she'd been carrying it for years. "Hold still," she said. I did. Her fingers were careful, warm against my skin. For a moment, the mission felt less like a mission and more like a life. "You're trained," she said quietly. "Military. Something like that," I answered. She tied the bandage, then met my eyes. "Now tell me the truth." So I did. Not every detail, but enough. I told her I was sent from the future, that she would discover a clean, unlimited source of energy, and that powerful enemies would rise to erase her before it could happen. I told her an android killer was already here, and it wouldn't stop. She listened without interrupting, like her mind was building a model of reality that could fit what she was hearing. When I finished, she looked past me at the skyline. "I thought science was the hard part," she said. "I didn't think surviving would be." "You won't do it alone," I said. She turned back. "Why you?" I hesitated, then answered honestly. "Because in the future, I read about you. About what you gave the world. And when they asked for volunteers to come back, I didn't think. I just said yes." Her expression softened. "So I'm a story to you." "You were," I said. "Now you're a person sitting in front of me, and I'd do this again." We needed a way to fight an android built to kill. That's when she surprised me. She explained her prototype wasn't just a battery. It was a controlled reaction that could scale if handled right. She had enough output right now to power something stronger than any weapon in this time. "A directed energy system," she said, sketching quickly on paper. "If we can build a focusing coil, we could create a pulse strong enough to overload him." I stared at her. "You can build that?" "I can try," she said. "But I'll need access to the right equipment." She knew someone. Her professor. He wouldn't believe the whole story, but he believed in her. We met him in his office after hours, keeping it brief. He didn't ask questions he didn't want answered. He handed her an access card to a basement lab and told her to be careful. When we stepped back outside, we ended up under a bridge with a river nearby. City lights trembled on the water. She looked at me like she was seeing past the soldier in me, down to the man underneath. "If you're from the future," she said, "do you ever go back?" "I'm supposed to," I said. "And if you do," she asked, "do you remember this?" I didn't have a good answer. So I did the only honest thing. I stepped closer. For a breath, we hovered between fear and hope, between duty and desire. And then the distant sound of a hard step echoed behind us. The hunter was near. Chapter 4, The Energy Weapon and the Final Fight. The basement lab smelled like metal and dust, the kind of place where old experiments went to sleep. We moved fast. She set her glowing core onto a reinforced mount. I built the outer frame from spare parts, power regulators, and a focusing coil we scavenged from equipment. It wasn't pretty, but it didn't need to be. When she activated the core, the room filled with blue light. The hum deepened, like a heartbeat turning into thunder. "This is enough," she said, voice tight. "If the math holds, one clean shot could overload his systems." "Then we make it count," I said. A loud hit the door. The metal frame bent inward. She flinched. I stepped in front of her, weapon raised. The door exploded inward with sparks. The android walked through the smoke like it was nothing, his suit barely disturbed. Up close, the details were wrong. His eyes were too calm. His movements were too exact. His face was a mask made to look like a man. He looked at her, not at me. As if I was only furniture. I fired. The blue beam flashed, but he twisted aside faster than he should have been able to. The blast scorched the wall, leaving glowing lines. He lunged. The impact sent me back into a table. He was strong, colder than steel. We grappled, my hands fighting for leverage while his grip searched for a quick kill. She grabbed a metal tool and struck him, hard, the way a person fights when they realize no one else will save them. The android turned toward her. "No!" I shouted, and slammed into him. He hit me with a force that made my vision spark. He didn't chase. He advanced on her, step by steady step, as if time itself belonged to him. She stood her ground by the weapon, breathing fast, eyes wet but focused. "Tell me where to aim," she said. I staggered to her side, put my hand over hers on the weapon grip, and guided the barrel. "Center mass," I said. "And don't stop." The android closed in through the smoke. She squeezed the trigger. The beam hit him square in the chest. Blue light cracked across his suit like lightning, crawling over his body in branching lines. He tried to move forward anyway. He always tried. That was the nightmare of machines made for murder. "More," I said. She held the trigger down. The core screamed with power, a clean fury of energy born from her discovery. The android's skin split in thin seams of light. His eyes flared, red patterns breaking apart. Then he collapsed into fragments, dissolving into silence. The room went still except for our breathing. She turned to me, shaking. I pulled her into my arms, and for the first time since arriving in this time, I felt something other than urgency. I felt home. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You got hurt because of me." "No," I said. "I got hurt because I chose you." She looked up at me. "Why does that sound like love?" Because it was. And we both knew it. Chapter 5. Choosing the present, building the future. After the fight, we didn't go back to normal, because normal was gone. But we found something better, a shared purpose. She secured her research, doubled her safety, and started planning how to develop her energy source the right way. Clean, stable, scalable, real. I stayed close, watching for shadows that might still be reaching across time. Weeks passed. Then months. We moved into a small apartment where the mornings smelled like coffee and printer paper. Some nights she woke from nightmares about glowing eyes in the subway. Some nights I woke reaching for a weapon that wasn't there. We learned each other's fears the way you learn a city. Block by block, slowly, with patience. One evening on the Brooklyn Bridge, the sky burning orange behind the skyline, I stopped walking. She turned. "What is it?" I took a breath. "I was sent here to protect you. But somewhere along the way, you protected me too. You reminded me that the future isn't just missions and losses." Her eyes searched mine. "Are you saying you're staying?" I nodded. "If you'll have me." She didn't answer with words. She answered by holding my hands like she'd been waiting for that choice all along. I offered her a ring, simple and honest. She said yes with a laugh that sounded like relief. We married in a small garden in New York, surrounded by a few people who mattered, including her professor who smiled like he was watching history take its first real breath. And then we got to work. We formed a company with careful partners. We built reactors based on her living membrane design, turning that soft blue hum into power plants that didn't poison the sky. Investors came. Reporters came. The city that never sleeps started to glow a little different, as if it could feel the future getting lighter. Sometimes I still thought about the timeline I came from, the one filled with fear and control. But standing beside her, watching her speak with calm confidence about a better world, I understood something simple. The future isn't a place you arrive at, it's something you build, one brave choice at a time. And I chose her. I chose this time. I chose love, not as a distraction from the mission, but as the reason the mission mattered in the first place. If you enjoyed this romantic sci-fi story set in New York, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Activate notifications so you'll know the moment a new story drops. Give this video a like if you want more time travel romance and action. Comment below with your favorite chapter, and share the video with someone who loves suspense, love stories, and future technology.